On the news at 7, Governor Akeredolu hails approval of Port Ondo by federal government, reaffirms commitment to economic development of Ondo State. Ahead May 29 transition, President Buhari to confer national honors on Tinubu Shetima. From the foreign scene, 6 million internally displaced citizens of Democratic Republic of Congo, Buhari's government. Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us on the news at 7. I am Obi Chukwemeka Oti. We begin tonight on developmental strides of the present administration. The Ondo State Governor, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, has described as chairing the federal government's approval of Ondo Deep Sea Port. Governor Akeredolu thanked the Federal Executive Council, FEC, said the approval was an impressive parting gift from the Buhari administration. The governor, in a statement by his chief press secretary Richard Olatunde, noted that actualizing the port project was very important to his administration and setting the state on the path of economic prosperity. Akeredolu said it is the goal of his administration to ensure that the potential of Ondo State is maximized and that all necessary infrastructure required making this a reality is put in place to achieve this. The governor also thanked the Minister of Transportation, Muazu Jaji Sambo, Minister of State for Transportation, Ademola Dogoroye, for their interventions and commitment, adding that history will be kind to them. Meanwhile, citizens of Ondo State have congratulated Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu on the federal government's approval of the Ondo Deep Sea Port. They commended the relentless efforts of Governor Akeredolu to the project that ensured the Federal Executive Council's approval. According to him, the port will not only open Ondo State to the world, but neighboring states. According to them, the deep sea port will provide significant economic, strategic, and infrastructure benefits to the state, adding that with the project, the state's unemployment rate will be greatly reduced. They added that the federal government's approval of the deep sea port is an attestation of the governor's determination to ensure a greater Ondo State. And the Ondo State Governor, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, says the state will soon reclaim its rightful place in the production of quality cocoa in Nigeria. Governor Akeredolu, who played host to delegation of the state's Cocoa Council and its development partners in Akure, said his administration is committed to working with relevant organizations and corporate bodies for improved cocoa production and a better economy. The governor also said he will work with the incoming administration at the federal level to improve cash crops production in the state. Government House correspondent Wahab Bankole was there for Osrc and now reports.
As part of his administration's commitment to promote food sufficiency and improve revenue generation through agriculture, Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu received in audience a delegation of the State's Cocoa Council and its development partners, led by Dr. Olusegun Awolumate.
Meeting with members of the State Cocoa Council.
They were at the governor's office in Akure to deliberate with Governor Akeredolu on how the state can reclaim its #1 position in cocoa production in Nigeria. The chairman of the State's Cocoa Council, Dr. Awolumate, who applauded the governor for his passion for agricultural development, highlighted some achievements of the council since its inauguration in 2021. Awolumate says the agriculture sector, especially cash crops production, is key to the state's economic progress, which are promised to sustain collaboration with critical stakeholders to achieve the set targets of the state's cocoa bond project.
You actually indicated your desire to turn the sort of the cocoa house, cocoa tower in Akure, and the consequence of this, we have been working to ensure that we return the sort before the end of August or early September 2023.
In his presentation, the Chief Executive Officer of the development partner First Commodities Exchange Limited, Mr. Ayodeji Balogun, commended the governor for setting up the cocoa board and his quest to make the state the foremost cocoa producer in Nigeria.
Our expectation is that 6 months from the approval, from when you approve and help launch the roadmap, we will be able to then have 6 months to structure the financial transaction, and then by the end of the year we'll be floating the first state-issued commodity-backed bond in the history of Nigeria and possibly in the history of Africa. And by first quarter 2025 we'll be having the first set of trees, because the seeds that we are giving out mature and start producing in 24 months.
Governor Akeredolu, who restated his commitment to ensuring that the state reclaim its position as the leading quality cocoa producer in the country, reassured residents of sound policies towards food sufficiency and improved revenue generation through improved production of cash crops.
It has to do with our farmers, who are mainly today, most of them are in the forest, just planting. They are not legally recognized. And we find it difficult at times to ask them to leave, because whether they like it or not, the forest belongs to the government. It should not be their own NEPA forever. But we try to explain this to them. They don't want to understand that. And we are made to understand that even their cocoa, or the species of cocoa that are now, in about 3 or 4 years, will not hand them a lot. But they don't understand that. It's only you who can explain to them. In your committee, form your body, can go ahead and explain to them. Repeat forests and allocated to people, and they're ready to give part of that allocation for you, to clear for you, to now start planting these new seeds to want to give to them. It's in their interest in quota that will certainly enjoy our support.
Akeredolu stressed the need for farmers in the state to be on the same page with government towards redefining the agri sector for economic prosperity of the state and the people. Wahab Bankole, Osrc News.
President Muhammadu Buhari will on Thursday, May the 25th, confer national honors on President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima. They both will be conferred with the national honors of Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, GCFR, and Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, GCON. A brief statement shared via Twitter by the President's Special Assistant on Digital and New Media, Tolu Ogunlesi, said on the same day there will be an official handover of transition documents to the incoming administration. In another development, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, has unveiled the inauguration program for the President-elect, Bola Tinubu, and his Vice, Kashim Shettima. This was made known in a post shared by the Director, Media and Publicity, Tinubu Shettima Campaign, Bayo Ononuga, on Twitter. Tinubu and Shettima will be sworn in as the President and Vice President of Nigeria on May 29, 2023. Upon inauguration, Tinubu will become the 16th President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. In the meantime, the United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed has charged state governors in Nigeria to deliver on their campaign promises before leaving office. Mohammed gave the charge at the 2023 Nigeria Governors Forum induction for new and returning state governors held in Abuja. Mohammed said that under the Constitution of Nigeria, state governors have the authority and the responsibility to deliver on critical infrastructure and basic services leading to social and economic development. She acknowledged that resource constraints were very real and that prioritizing, phasing, and leveraging other partnerships will be key. Meanwhile, the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Mohammed Saad Abubakar III, says that nothing can stop the inauguration of the president-elect Bola Tinubu on May 29, noting that all Nigerians should support the incoming government to succeed. Abubakar stated this while seeking prayers for the success of Tinubu's administration during a roundtable meeting with traditional and religious rulers organized by the World Bank. The Sultan, who urged Nigerians to help the government stabilize and move the country forward, charged them to be united and work towards ensuring equity and justice. Moving now to the People's Democratic Party, where the National Working Committee, NWC, of the party is set to constitute a committee that will review all cases of indiscipline and anti-party activities against its members. A statement by the PDP National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba, noted that the decision was in furtherance of the ongoing efforts by the national leadership of the party to instill discipline and to achieve comprehensive reconciliation in the party. Ologunagba said the party had ordered that no organ of the party at any level shall henceforth commence any disciplinary action against any member of the party without due consideration and regards to the provisions of the party's constitution. You're watching the news at 7. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll serve you more stories. Please stay with us.
Get ready for a great day. How do I know? Because my daddy goes through his work feeling good and always with a smile. Mommy is always filled with confidence. My sister is always in tune. And for me, learning new things becomes absolute fun. Because all day and every day, the peak goes on.
Start your day with a big protein breakfast. Peak. Reach for your peak.
Thank you for rejoining us. You can also watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on our Facebook page OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. Now to the rest of the news. Whichever way plants came to be, either through creation, evolution, or even genetic manipulation, its numerous benefits for mankind has been listed for attention. In this inaugural lecture delivered by a professor of botany, cytogenetics, Department of Biological Sciences of Olusegun Agagu University of Science and Technology, Okitipupa in Ondo State, Professor Adegoke Adegbite, he dwells more on proactive measures to address the influx of unprofessional herbal medicinal practitioners among various recommendations. Omorela Gbenji reports that it is the second inaugural lecture to be delivered since the establishment of the Citadel of Learning some years ago. The report.
This research book of 116 pages titled Plants, Oscillating Amongst Creationism, Evolutionism and Genetic Modifications was presented for about an hour. Gathered here from far and near are scholars, students, family of the inaugural lecturer, Professor Adegoke Adegbite.
By education, botanists are the lucky and special agents of God on earth.
Professor Adegbite explained the roles played by nature and science to expand the living creatures by God through genetic and evolutionary mechanisms, while listing some benefits of this natural blessing called plants to include food, medicine, and other essential life. The scholar cautioned against the inappropriate use by professional herbal medical practitioners parading the country.
The advertisement of herbal medicine will be due to wrong identification or position of plants and use in the herbal preparation is for government policy or the obligatory government of botanists in the authentication of herbal medicine to be adopted in Nigeria to replace the herbal composition and dosages of the herbal medicine.
The inaugural lecturer also reiterated the need for government to comprehensively review the flora of Nigeria and that of West Tropical Africa to capture all the existing plants in the areas for human benefits.
Therefore, I call on botanists in higher institutions, research, organizations, university management, Botanical Society of Nigeria, and the government to put strategies in place to promote the science and botany by making it attractive, interesting, and lucrative.
Vice Chancellor of the institution, Professor Temi Ologborisha, hailed the inaugural lecturer for the presentation and suggested the best way to put the research finding of Nigeria universities into commercial use.
We need to commercialize some of our research findings from the university so that it doesn't just end in the bookshelves of the professor. We need to commercialize research findings, patent it, and turn them into products that can reduce human suffering.
Dignitaries at the presentation also commended the scholar.
How plants were produced, how animals came to being, all these things were thoroughly thrashed, and he educated us significantly.
Civilization has made us to forget the use of the abstract, but thank God that people are still coming out to know how to use it.
Professor Adegoke Adegbite has had over 80 published articles to his credit, and he is the first professor to be appointed at the academic home of Olusegun Agagu University of Science and Technology, Okitipupa, over a decade ago. Omoriola Hungwiji, Osrc News.
A public health practitioner, Lion Dr. Koforola Jegede, has emerged a pioneer governor for District 404A4 Nigeria. Dr. Jegede achieved the feat during the 16th elective convention of Lions Club's multiple District 404 Nigeria held in Abuja. Our correspondent Kunle Ario reports.
The nation, the more we serve the nation, the happier we shall be.
The event was the 16th elective convention of Lions Club Multiple District 404 Nigeria held in Abuja. The 5-day convention with the theme Serving in Unity was attended by eminent Nigerians, including former President of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mohammed Musa Bello, the Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC Limited, Malam Kyari, among others. Dr. Kolawole Jegede walked tour at the International Conference Center, venue of the convention, where delegates unanimously voted her to lead the club for the next 1 year. The multiple council chairperson, Mrs. Obo Edet, said all accredited delegates voted unanimously for Dr. Jegede to emerge the governor of the new district comprising Ondo, Edo and Delta states. While congratulating the new district ESCO members, Mrs. Edet enjoined members of the global service community to demonstrate their unanimous mandate given to Dr. Jegede by supporting her to translate all the thematic action plans of the Lions Club to impact communities in states within the district. In her acceptance speech, Dr. Jegede said having been well prepared for the job, she would ensure that District 404A4 Nigeria becomes the pride of multiple District 404 Nigeria and a pacesetter for other districts. The Pioneer District Governor said a core project which will target the prevention of morbidity and mortality within District 404A4 as a result of malnutrition include building a pediatric cancer shelter home at the Federal Medical Center Owo and feeding the vulnerables. The Minister of State for Transport, Mr. Ademola Adegoroyin, lauded the collaborative roles of the Lions Club with government at all levels in Nigeria, evidently demonstrated in Ondo State with the building of a dialysis center, the modeling and equipping of the Millennium Eye Center, both at the University of Medical Sciences Teaching Hospital in Akure, the Ondo State capital.
A few times in the past, I've had the opportunity of attending functions of the Lions Club at the level of Akure, where I come from. Looking at my hands here, the Butterfly Tigers, I recall that we were at Akure for a function years back. I am elated and I'm glad and I feel privileged that I'm joining Lions. I hear that you don't
call the women lionesses any longer. I hear that the lions are eating up all the lionesses.
Dr. Kofaworola Jegede, a progressive Melvin Jones Fellow and Lion certified instructor, joined the Lions Club over 36 years ago. She is a retired civil servant in Ondo State and the wife of the pioneer district governor of the bifurcated District 404A1 Nigerian, Lion Olumuyiwa Jegede, Tunle Ariyo, Osrc News.
The president of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, Dr. Emeka Oji, says the National Assembly has invited the association for a meeting tomorrow. Resident doctors across 79 tertiary health facilities commenced a 5-day warning strike on Wednesday to press home their demands. The doctors are demanding an immediate increment in the consolidated medical salary structure to the tune of 200% of the current gross salaries of doctors. The doctors also want immediate massive recruitment of clinical staff in the hospitals, an immediate withdrawal of the bill seeking to compel medical and dental graduates to render 5-year compulsory services in Nigeria before being granted full licenses to practice, among others. To crime-related stories, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, says the outgoing governor of Zamfara State, Bello Matawali, is under investigation for alleged 70 billion naira fraud. The commission, in a statement, said the All Progressives Congress APC power broker is being investigated over allegations of monumental corruption, award of phantom contracts, and diversion of over 70 billion naira. The EFCC said the money, which was sourced as loan from an old generation bank purportedly for the execution of projects across the local government areas of the state, was allegedly diverted by the governor through proxies and contractors who received payment for contracts that were not executed. The FCC said some of the contractors had been invited and quizzed, adding that they made startling revelations on how they were allegedly compelled by the governor to return the funds received from the state coffers back to him through his aides after converting the same to United States dollars. The National Museum Akure has joined the rest of the globe in commemorating this year's International Museum Day, held on the 18th of May every year. The day provides the opportunity for museum professionals to raise public awareness on the role museums play in the development of society. Joy Pius reports that the theme for this year's celebration is Museums, Sustainable Development and Well-being. The report.
International Museum Day is celebrated annually on May 18th to raise awareness about the importance of museums in our society. The day further highlights the role of museums as cultural and educational institutions that preserve and promote art, history, culture, and heritage. The National Museum Akure, as a way of celebrating the day, brought together major stakeholders in the state, as well as students from various schools in Ondo State. The Assistant Director of Educational Services and Training, who doubled as a chairperson on the occasion, Mrs. Janet Adegboye, highlighted the role of the museum in shaping the society, while noting the positive contribution it has on peaceful coexistence.
I stand here today to challenge everyone for sustainable and healthy museum in the 21st century. In the modern day time, it is the institution for research, teaching, exhibition, exposition, and conservation in one or more field of human activities, such as arts, science, history, or industry. In addition, it is an institution which serves these three main functions of collecting, preservation, and presentation of objects, nature specimens, and culture.
The Director General, National Commission for Museums and Monuments, Professor Abba Tijani, represented by the Curator, National Museum Akure, Joseph Adeyemo, stated that the Commission is saddled with the responsibility of protecting and promoting the nation's heritage resources while urging Nigerians to be proud of their culture.
Museums are key contributors to the well-being and sustainable development of our communities. A growing body of evidence shows that museums can bring benefits to individual and community health and well-being in their roles as public forums for debate and learning.
To showcase love for tradition, the officials displayed their traditional hairdo to the admiration of the audience. As a way of promoting the Yoruba cultural heritage, students who graced the occasion thrilled the audience with their display of traditional marriage and coronation of monarchs in Yoruba land. There were also cultural display from various schools in the state, including the Ondo State School for the Hearing Impaired. For the students, it was an opportunity to showcase what they represent.
I'm so happy to be today because today is the International Museum Day. So I'm so happy because it showcases about our culture.
I've learned in Yoruba culture how to dress, how to make.
The event also featured art exhibition as well as presentation of certificates of participation to invited schools. Joy Pius, OSRC News.
From the foreign scene, the Democratic Republic of Congo is struggling to deal with more than 6 million Congolese who have fled their homes because of conflict and natural disasters. The country has the highest number of internally displaced persons in Africa, and the United Nations says it needs $2 billion to help the country, but only 25% of the budget has been met. To end the news at 7, let's take another look at the major stories. Governor Akeredolu has hailed the approval of a deep sea port in Ondo State by the federal government. The governor, who hailed the move in a statement, reaffirmed his administration's commitment to economic development of the state. We also told you that ahead May 29 transition, President Muhammadu Buhari will, on the 25th of May 2023, confer a national honors on President-elect Bola Tinubu and his vice, Kashim Shettima. And from the foreign scene, we told you that the United Nations is struggling to help 6 million internally displaced citizens of the Democratic Republic of Congo. And with that, we've come to the end of the news at 7. Thank you so much for your time. Good evening.